What's up, everybody? Welcome back. I am Brian Jester, co-founder here at Occupy Fantasy, single game $1 million winner. It's been a week with Thanksgiving, but we're back with some showdown videos, NFL DFS picks, lineup advice for tonight's single game showdown slate, FanDuel, DraftKings, Monday Night Football, Seattle Seahawks, Washington football team. In this video, it's about 10 minutes long. We talk about low risk and high risk lineup construction tips, the injuries that impact the slate, and general strategies to help get you to the top of your contest leaderboards. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to the channel. As always, get notified when we upload any new videos or when we go live. Take your Q&As. We're doing a giveaway at 3K subscribers. We're almost there, so make sure you're subscribed. Get eligible for that giveaway. Give us a thumbs up if you appreciate the showdown content and want to see more of it. And any questions you have, just comment on the video below or join our Discord server. Click the join button below this video. Talk with other members of the OccupyFantasy.com community. So let's jump right into it. And let's start with these injuries on both sides. Both teams have a decent amount of injuries that do impact the slate. And let's start at the running back position for Seattle. If we scroll down here, let's keep scrolling. Rashad Penny is out for the Seahawks. Been in and out of the lineup pretty much his whole career, this year especially, and has been taking some touches away from that backfield. Obviously, Chris Carson is still sidelined. He's on IR out for the year. And then Travis Homer, who has stolen some snaps, is also out. So now the Seahawks are down to two primary running backs. They do have another running back that they've called up off the practice squad, Josh Johnson. Not sure how much he'll play, but generally we have two running backs that are going to split the workload as opposed to three or four. And those two guys tonight now are DJ Dallas, $7,800 a captain, $5,200 in the flex spot. And then Alex Collins, who has led this team primarily since Chris Carson has gone down. He is $6,600. And these running back injuries obviously help for all contest types, but specifically for low-risk contests because it allows us to get those running backs in to lock up all the scoring. Let's see here. Also, Seattle is also dealing with just a couple minor injuries along the offensive line. Nothing that'll impact our lineup constructions. And then on the Washington side, they're getting some guys back. So Curtis Samuel expected to return. Played very sparingly so far this season, dealing with his injury. He's expected to be back tonight. And Logan Thomas expected to be activated off injured reserve. But we have to monitor this. He has to be activated by 4 p.m. today. Just monitor to make sure that does indeed happen. And of course, the inactives drop at 6:50 p.m. Eastern. That will know for sure if Curtis Samuel is indeed playing. So let's start with our low-risk lineups. 50-50s, double-ups, head-to-heads, lineups where you just have to beat half the field to double your money. And if you read our showdown guide, you've watched these videos, you know we like to play both quarterbacks and both running backs to lock up all of the scoring for a showdown low-risk contest. And tonight, it makes it easy because we have a little bit of split backfields, but we do have lead backs that we can rely on, and the injuries in Seattle's backfield clarifies things a bit. So if we start with Russell Wilson, we start with Taylor Heineke, the two quarterbacks in this game. We start with Alex Collins, the likely lead back for Seattle. 5,700 left. Antonio Gibson, trending down, back up. Still the lead guy, getting most of the red zone work here as the lead back for the Washington football team. He's the guy we want to get in for this construction type, this lineup construction type. 4,250 per player. Couple different ways you can play it. You can pay up and play a super scrub, $200, or you can play some kickers, some mid-range guys. Couple different ways to play it, but this is how you want to start your low-risk lineup on DraftKings. FanDuel, same exact thing. As we know, if you've watched these videos all year, if you've played Showdown throughout the year, you know that generally it's pretty tough to get both quarterbacks, both running backs. However, look at this. We could do it with both those guys. Gibson, Collins, both quarterbacks. 7K. We punt the last position. We can make it work. Now, this is pretty tough, right? If you think about it, when we have some good receivers on the slate, Terry McLaurin, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, it's a little scary fading those guys. But especially on FanDuel, the quarterback running back strategy works. It locks up all the scoring. You just have to beat half the people. You don't have to get first, top 10%, top 20%. You just have to beat 50%, and locking up all the scoring is generally a good way to do that. Really, when we want to change our approach is when we have those super studs, Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams, Tyreek or Kelsey, those types of guys. Those definitely change the constructions a bit. But when we have just a generic showdown slate, we could play both quarterbacks, both running backs, lock up the scoring, and coast to a top 50% finish in low-risk contests. Now, high-risk contests, it's a tough slate. High-risk contests, leagues, GPPs, satellites, because we have the three receivers, we have the quarterbacks. A little insight to the betting markets for this game. Seattle opened as a slight favorite. The total opened at 45.5. Since then, still less than 50% of the bets coming in on Washington, yet the line has moved in their favor, generally an indicator of some sort of sharp action on their squad. They're a slight favorite now, about a 1-point favorite. The total's up to 46.5. So when in doubt, if you're facing some tough decisions, always lean on the side of the sharp money, and that means Washington captains or Washington lineups tonight. But it's pretty tough. We expect the field to play pretty balanced. Usually, when we try to figure out what the field is going to do, there's a clear answer. We can see that they're going to play 5-1, 4-2 favorite heavy stacks. They're going to play these captains primarily from the favorite team. Or it's going to be a balanced lineup. Maybe the underdog is more popular than usual. Tonight, it's all over the place. There are different lineups: 4-2 Seattle stacks, 3-3 Washington stacks, all over the place. So it's a really tough matchup from a high-risk showdown slate. I imagine once you read our daily plug later today that the bankroll allocation will be pretty minimal. Just try to hunt some satellite tickets, find some easy low-risk contests. But if you look at it tonight, so on DraftKings, we have the projected roster percent for the captains. A lot of similar percentages. Russ Wilson, 12 to 15%. McLaurin, 12 to 15%. Lockett, Metcalf, 10 to 15%. It's tough, right? There's no real edge in the receiving game. However, I would say tonight, I think the best leverage in high-risk contests, if you're trying to get different from the field, because the field is not going to do this. The field, clearly, the top 5, top 6 most popular captains are going to be in the passing game. And this game total isn't that high, right? Still, I know it's up a point to 46.5, but we're still on that lower side of that high versus low total. Generally, when we have a lower total, we see running backs more optimal captains than a higher total game. So to me, the leverage, if everyone's playing the passing game tonight, I mean, we've seen Russ Wilson hasn't been great in his return from his finger injury. Taylor Heineke is Taylor Heineke, right? Why not play the running backs at captain and MVP tonight, especially on FanDuel, and get leverage that way and hope that in a lower scoring game, one of these guys rushes for 100 yards and a touchdown, or just a touchdown, some receiving work. That may be enough in a lower scoring game. So playing guys, I think tonight, the best way is to play the running backs at captain, right? So that would include Antonio Gibson. It would include potentially J.D. McKissick in a trailing game script. Alex Collins, he can easily rush for 100 yards and a touchdown in this matchup. Or DJ Dallas, who has looked good in recent weeks, could easily turn into the lead back tonight. Definitely the better pass catching back. So in a trailing game script or in a scenario where he outplays Alex Collins, he could be the optimal captain. And the fact that they're cheaper allows you to fit in a couple more of these guys at the top in your flex spots. So I think in a lower total game with all the attention on the receivers and no one really wanting to play the running backs at captain, that's the move to get leverage tonight. And on FanDuel, same way, right? I know it's scary not to play a quarterback at MVP, but Russ Wilson, like I said, who hasn't been playing great, Heineke, not a ton of upside. If one of these running backs gets into the end zone, rushes for 100 yards, easily can be the popular or the optimal MVP. And we have the MVP percentages for these guys less than 15% for both Collins and Antonio Gibson for projected roster rate, which means not a ton of DFS players are going to play them in their MVP spots. So again, it's tough, right? And fading DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Terry McLaurin, quarterbacks at MVP captain is a tough proposition. But again, this is a tough slate, and there's not a ton of value. Generally, when we have popular captains, we can play the value to get different, low-owned value to get different. None of the values stand out tonight, and as you'll read in our daily plug, none of them are that great of leverage plays. So we have to look to get a leverage at the MVP and captain spots instead, which to us looks like the running game tonight. So that'll do it for this video. Appreciate you listening as always. Again, make sure you check out the daily plug posted by 3 p.m. Eastern on OccupyFantasy.com with rankings and lineup construction tips for different contest types. Very, very important and a great piece of content for you to read before you make your showdown lineups. Our Occupy model is up and running with projected ownership, rankings, FanDuel, DraftKings, and Yahoo. And our lineup builder allows you to build up to 150 lineups using our optimal lineup criteria and custom rules. You don't want to miss it. Check it out, OccupyFantasy.com. All those links are in the description below. Again, make sure you subscribe to the channel. 3K subscriber giveaway is very soon. Make sure you're eligible. Help us out. Helps you get notified when we go live or upload videos. Give us that thumbs up. Any questions, you can always comment. We'll get back to you before the slate starts. But if you're on a time crunch, hop in our Discord server. We answer those questions pretty quickly. So, Brian Jester for Occupy Fantasy. Appreciate you listening to this video. Good luck tonight, and we'll talk to you soon.